Today we'll introduce something new to our coverage. Two teams are giving us full access to the behind the scenes of their race during stage 2. This evening we'll focus on Christopher Bell and Corey Lajoie.
You know, we have the pieces to go out here and have a great championship run.
What a drive for Christopher Bell. He pulls out the win.
I legitimately think we can be a contender for a race win. We can surprise people this year.
Go hard, go hard, go hard. Go like him.
Christopher Bell described his car as edgy free. Those 4 fresh Goodyear tires will certainly help.
Checked in with Christopher Bell's crew chief Adam Stevens today about his pit crew, and he said they've been on the uptick lately in terms of consistency, which is great because C. Bell starts at the back of the field after getting a crash and is in a backup car. What's the job for the crew? Well, it's not to bust off the fastest stops of the night, bust off consistent stops and let everybody else make the speed errors. These guys want to help Christopher get to the front by picking up spots on pit lane. Kim?
Well, Dave, we often talk about crews being athletes, and all of Corey Lajoie's pit crew played collegiate ball. This job has allowed them to showcase their athleticism and even travel the world. Get this, rear tire changer Mike Moss was on the Garage 56 pit crew last year that went to Le Mans, and they were a part of the winning pit crew challenge there. So quite the resume for these guys down here, Marty.
Brad, you're a team owner. I mean, how cool is this? Because it takes more than the driver, the crew chief, and the engineer.
Yeah, this is fantastic. There's a lot that goes into these race weekends for these race teams. There's a lot of people, a lot of moving pieces and parts. And for us to be able to come along and embed our journalists is not only a privilege, it's unparalleled access. This is awesome.
Yeah, it really is, just to see what a team effort it takes to make a good product out here. We hear about the drivers all the time, but it takes a lot more than just that.
Yes, it does. It's pit stops, it's getting to the racetrack, it's every little thing that it takes to be able just to even get to the green flag in a race.
Another guy loves be behind the wheel in racing is Christopher Bell, driver of the 20. Let's check in with his crew chief. Marty, you're down there with Adam Stevens.
Yeah, Rick, when we do the embedded portion of stage 2 later on, this is the sort of access we're going to have. I'm going to be sitting right beside Adam Stevens, so I don't have to tell you, no team's been able to run 20 laps, more than that, on a set of tires. Knowing that and knowing that is going to be the case maybe tonight, how does that play out for you in the race today?
Yeah, you know, we were all caught by surprise in practice. We showed up thinking we were conservative on our settings, and turns out we weren't. So obviously we had the opportunity to make big changes with the backup car, as everyone else did, and I wouldn't be surprised if we could make it 40 or 50 on this first run, but we haven't seen the last of the tire issues.
If tires are able to survive an entire fuel run, how will that play out strategy-wise then?
I think what you're going to see is everybody scared to go too long, and once somebody breaks the seal on pit road, it's going to be a quick cycle.
Steve, it was so kind of Adam to invite me up here. What I'm disappointed about is that you never invited me on top of the box with Jeff Gordon or Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he's given me a nice seat up here this evening.
Well, Marty, I did want to point out, I want to thank Adam Stevens and Ryan Sparks on the 7, both organizations, because Marty's right. No chance you were getting on my pit box 10 years ago. So these crew chiefs have really leaned into great coverage, and that's all for the fans who tune in. We really appreciate this access. Is going to be so much fun.
That's going to take place in stage 2, where Marty and Kim will be embedded with those teams, and we'll get looks of everyone, crew chief, over the wall, spotters, everything. Steve, take us through this race analysis.
Back at Iowa Speedway, about to start stage 2, and I want to brag on this entire 20 team who I am hanging out with on top of their pit box, the very first stall here on pit road. We talked about how they went to a backup car, so what goes into the work in getting a backup car ready? Adam Stevens told me it took 8.5 extra hours to make that happen. Up to 12 guys working on the car to get it ready and just get it going. They worked until 10:30 at night here in the garage area Friday. They had a 45-minute drive to the hotel. They slept 4 hours. They were up at 4:30 in the morning. NASCAR let them in at 6 a.m. Saturday to finish the car. The car has not been on the track since Martin Truex Jr. raced it last year at Martinsville. And so far, all of these guys and the driver have gotten it up into the field, Kim.
Well, Marty, it's already been an action-packed day for Corey Lajoie. And as we look at his resume at Iowa Speedway, he's been quite the journeyman. Before he was full-time Cup Series racing, he did anything he could to be immersed in the sport. So here at Iowa Speedway, Corey Lajoie has played crew chief for Brody Kostecki in the ARCA Series, putting his driver on the pole. He is spotted for Brandon McReynolds. But maybe the most interesting thing you're seeing right there, he changed the tires for Hill Brothers Sparks right next to me. He got his first National Series win right here at Iowa Speedway as an engineer for Austin Dillon in the Truck Series back in 2010.
We love it, Marty. And Kim, thank you guys for being a part of that. Christopher Bell is going to restart in 11th. We're going to listen in to his spotter, Stevie Reeves, on the restart.
One. Green flag. Rolling. At the line now. Bottom of three. Bottom of three. One outside. Bottom of three. Bottom of three. Bottom of three. Bottom of three. Barely. Back to one outside. One outside. One outside. One outside. Clear. Clear.
And Marty, how's it going on the 20 pit box?
Let's chat with Adam Stevens from the back of the field to 16th for Christopher Bell. We heard Christopher say he struggles on the early part of the run, Adam. Is that basically a product of having to go maybe a little more conservative than you would have liked after what happened in practice?
Like whatever balance we've come up with, taking off a little bit freer than we want. And the balance is swinging pretty tight now, so we're going to have to come up with a little bit better compromise. But we kind of at a bad spot with our camber and our air pressure trying to make it live, and it's hurting the short run.
There you go, Kim, and appreciate Adam talking to us under green here.
As we catch up with crew chief Ryan Sparks. Ryan, we've already seen you guys mix up the strategy in terms of 2 tires and 4. How much more can we see in terms of a variety of strategies?
Well, obviously we had that spin early on, so we had to do something different to get back up front. Corey's doing a nice job. Game Bridge, Chevrolet Camaro's really fast today. We're super pumped about that. We got a few tricks up our sleeve here. We'll probably save it to the end, though.
And let's start. Not only does Ryan serve as crew chief, he's a dual-role competition director also for Spire Motorsports.
Yeah, Ryan Sparks was hired in when Spire decided to run their own charters. He did a really nice job growing that organization, calling good races for the 7. I want to go back to what Adam Stevens said. You know, they showed up with what they thought would work. They failed the tire. They had to make adjustments. They did. And you kind of heard what he said. We're kind of in a box. Remember, you can adjust air pressure, but you can't really adjust camber. And that's what these teams have had to go with. It's great that both of these crew chiefs would talk to us under green. The other thing to point out is that noise is real. So you see all these people in the pit box. The back 2 rows, they're normally sponsors, dignitaries, maybe some team executives. The front row, each team does it a little different. The 20 of Adam Stevens has a crew chief, his car chief, and an engineer. The 7 of Corey Lajoie has a couple engineers up front. They normally have an intercom system, so while it sounds very loud, they can press a different button and have a private channel that doesn't even go over the airwaves, like a closed circuit intercom that whole front row on the 7 could talk to one another while everyone has an assignment. The crew chief can focus at the task at hand, communicating with his driver. There you see the 20 on the top, right? You see the man with the helmet, Chris Sherwood. That's a car chief. He's ready to go in action if he needs to go over pit wall.
So again, Marty and Kim, a part of the 20 and 7 teams in this, the second stage, which there are 102 laps still to go in stage 2. Kyle Larson, we mentioned aggressive. Well, aggressively into turn 3, and almost a moment here with the 99 of Daniel Suarez up the racetrack. As we're seeing the 12 of Ryan Blaney close in on putting Denny Hamlin a lap down. Remember, Marty and Kim are a part of the 20 and 7 teams in this stage.
Meanwhile, Chase Briscoe is on pit road. He was complaining about a vibration for the last 20 laps or so, has been managing it the best he can. He finally gets his 4 fresh tires, Kim.
Corey Lajoie is going to make his way into the attention of his crew. He said he fired off tight but freer on the back end of the run. That car just feels disconnected, he says, as he makes the long way down to his pit stall right in the corner of pit road as the crew goes to work. It is going to be a chassis adjustment, and they take tires, Marty.
20 of Christopher Bell continues to run on the racetrack, getting really good mileage. This is further than I thought they could have gone.
Remember, this is the car that blew the tire in practice. So they have a tremendous amount of confidence that they made the adjustments they needed to keep from having another tire failure.
And he was on pit road on lap 54, so he's been on the track the longest on these tires.
That 9 versus 12 is for position. Remember, they've both pitted. So while they're currently not near the front, they're 13th and 14th. They know that'll be important, Dave.
Pilot Reddick told his crew, if I put the throttle to it in the center, it stays tight. I can't get off the corner well, so they'll adjust for that here, give him 4 Goodyear tires and fuel.
As Bell continues to run, you see the 9 getting in front of the 12.
We're ready. Bring it to us.
All right, bring it to us. Sounds like the 20's coming to pit road. What you don't see in that bottom screen is the 24. He pitted about 10 laps early. To Jeff's point about tires mattering, that cycled him out in front of these 3 by just a couple seconds. So even though the advantage wasn't as big as some tracks, they still mattered that short pitting did allow him to leapfrog the leaders as the 20 turns left. Does a nice job, Marty. Looks like no tires slid and down to pit road speed.
Boy, a green flag stop here at Iowa, Steve, and the first pit stall is really tough, but Christopher Bell executed it very well. I don't think anyone anticipated the teams running a long day, but they have. Mike Hicks is the rear tire changer on this race team, one of the best in the garage area. We got Jake Holmes, the tire carrier, Blake Houston, the front changer, and Peyton Moore, the fueler. They leave pit road. Bell so good on those long runs. We'll see where he cycles out.
And Kim has the front row seats of everything going on with the 7 team, as does Marty with the 20.
Rick, let's chat with Mike Hicks, some of the fastest hands in the garage area, also the rear tire changer for Christopher Bell. You guys have a unique pit stall here, Mike, the #1 pit stall on pit road. How does that make it difficult, especially for you, the rear changer?
Yeah, I mean, when you have this first stall here, especially at a track like today where we're having tire issues, you just you got to be ready all the time. You know, you got to make sure you got all your stuff prepped and ready, because you blow a tire going into 3, they're going to be on you really fast.
There you go, Mike Hicks. We're going to let him run. By the way, that caution did not come out at a good time for the 20 team. They ran long. They paid the price when the caution came out, and Adam Stevens was very upset.
That was the most ridiculous bullshit caution I've ever seen in my life. You had 17 guys blow tires, and you have 1 guy blow another tire, and you throw the caution. That's chicken.
I understand the frustration. I would see it the same way if it definitely, you know, hurt my car, and I don't completely disagree. I think there were other opportunities to throw a yellow. We saw flat tires. The only difference is that car made contact with the wall, so in the instantaneous decision, maybe they thought he needed assistance, but you know, hindsight being 2020, I have to agree with Adam Stevens. I don't think that deserved a yellow any more than the flat tires that we've seen.
2-tire stop for Keselowski, gains him 8 spots. Suarez 9 spots with a 2-tire stop. And what a behind-the-scenes view we have had here. We want to thank the 20 and the 7 teams for their access. And we'll see how Corey Lajoie and Christopher Bell do in the final stage. And let's check back in with the 7 team and Kim.
Well, Rick, everyone has an origin story on how they got into racing, and crew chief Ryan Sparks, it's the perfect day for his Father's Day. That's because Sparks has been around racing his entire life. His grandfather, Bob, raced at Bowman Gray. You're seeing Bob right there. And Ryan's father, Bobby, raced karts all over the Southeast. Now, Ryan tried his hand at driving, but decided to enroll instead at UNC Charlotte, getting his degree in mechanical engineering. He's passed on the tradition, though, of racing to his niece. In his free time, he crew chiefs for his niece in local short tracks around Charlotte. Marty, it's been so fun being embedded with this team. How about that 20?
Oh, it was fun to be up here in the 20 box as well, Kim. It was an eventful stage 2. They got to the lead. Caution came out at a bad time. They finally finished the last car on the lead lap. The issue all day long has been the early part of the run, and Christopher Bell wanted to know why.
Why is this thing so awful on stickers? A great question. I don't know.
Adam Stevens told him, listen, we may have to live with this the rest of the day. We're doing all we can, Jeff, to help out the car early in the run, but that long run speed is hard to walk away from as well. They're terrific.
Yeah, they have good speed. Love those inside looks. We're going to do that all year long, hopefully with 1 team every week, maybe 2.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.